Good evening. We're back with another tagged video. And so this is the Bring Back Browsing book tag. And I was tagged by Trav at Trav's Bookshelf, who was tagged by Mark at Book Ramble. And so I will post their videos in the description. But this is a 4 prompt tag with the 5th prompt being tagging other people. And we're going to jump right into this. So the first prompt is called Magic of Discovery. Share a book you found while browsing you may not have discovered otherwise. And I found Peace by Gene Wolfe. Even though I haven't read this yet, I found this at a used bookstore, completely just had a pile of books at a used bookstore on the ground. I started thumbing through them, and then I came upon this thing. And I know who Gene Wolfe is. I've never read a Gene Wolfe book. I know he's the author of The Book of the New Sun, which is kind of a sci-fi fantasy thriller that gets talked about a lot on YouTube, but I've never read a Gene Wolfe book. And I found this one and thought, well, this is really interesting. It's a standalone novel, and he's a known author to me, and so I picked this up. It was relatively cheap, and this is a really good copy in trade paperback form, and so that was a Magic of Discovery. Prompt number 2, expanding world. Share a book that's made you view things from a different perspective or exposed you to new ideas. And I'm going with The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland. This was a pick from Carly. I gave her basically carte blanche access to go into Barnes & Noble, pick out anything that she wanted, and I would read and review it on the channel. She picked this book, and so she felt like I needed more female authors represented in this channel, and I needed to read more of female authors. And I'll be honest, majority of what I read is male dominated, but I enjoyed this. This was a pretty good book, and I am glad I did it because it definitely got me to understand and read an author from a female writer, and it gave me a different perspective. And so, I don't have to be so macho about it. They write good books, so I definitely see myself reading more female authors. So, number 3, open to change. Share a book that has changed who you are as a person or your day-to-day habits. And I kind of stretch this one a little bit, but I'm going with The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I read this, roughly almost 1,000-page paperback book. I've read it twice now. And I will say that it's changed my kind of view when it comes to books, because this kind of solidifies in my mind that if you're a good author and you can take a simple idea like building a church and do it in a historical premise and do it really, really well, and you can entertain people for 1,000 pages. And it really is. It is a fascinating read. And so there's a lot about this book that, to me, should be a blueprint for other authors in terms of, seeing what it is to, not having to be, really good at just one thing, but being very good at a lot of different things, whether it's plot, pacing, characters, settings, intrigue, plot lines. I think this does it really, really well, but it's all around building a church. And that definitely has changed my kind of perspective. So, and number 4, browse a bookstore, library, or friend shelves. Talk about a book you found. I found this at a bookstore. It's called Transgressions. And so I kind of tweaked this one too. I found this at a used bookstore, but I probably wouldn't have been looking at it very heavily if it wasn't for Ollie at Criminale. He is the one that put me on to Ed McBain as an author, and this particular collection of novellas is edited by Ed McBain, and it includes an Ed McBain novella, which was part of my Saturday Shorts recently, and has a novella in the 87th Precinct. And thanks to Ollie at Criminale, I read this and I picked this up. I think this is fascinating. I definitely like shorter stuff, and novella length stuff. It gives you, in my opinion, just enough to make it interesting, but keep the writing and pace consistent and fast. And the Ed McBain novella from the 87th Precinct that I read in this is really, really good. And I'm very excited to get to other authors like Block, Deaver, King, Walter Mosley. It sounds fascinating to me. And so this was one that I picked up at a bookstore. But yeah, also kind of looked through Ollie's shelf via his channel and got into Ed McBain. So that's my pick for number 4. So the 5th and final pick is to tag others to do this kind of prompt. This one's a quick one, so I'm hoping other people will play along as well. I am going to tag the following people: Novel Insights, Bookworm Adventure Girl, Book Chat with Pat, Outer World Media, Rowdy Player One, Jess Book Girl TV, Book Buds, Nicole's Bookish Nook, Vin's Corner, Bookstalgic, Spread Book Joy, Secret Fire Books, 2 minutes on Books, Criminale, and Must Read More. You've been tagged. I will put in the description the prompts and tag the people that I just mentioned. And I hope you have a great evening. Again, this was the Bring Back Browsing book tag. Hope you have a great rest of your Thursday and a great weekend. Thanks.